Hey guys, Moose here. We are back with some more Stonehearth in our Ascendancy playthrough, and it's the first video of 2017. Hopefully not as shitty as 2016, even though, well, somehow I get the feeling it's gonna be, but we'll see. Anyway, starting off our video with an invasion here. Not too bad. Military got in there quick, so shouldn't be a problem. Oh well. You know, that's life. Things change in the world, and hopefully, well... Oh, okay, I read that as 80,000. I was like, what do you mean we didn't get someone? We're 6k over. Thought someone died or something. Nope, I'm just stupid. Yeah, world changes all the time. Hopefully this won't be as big of a deal as I think it is. And it's not really about, you know, the American president, which is obviously like a major source of discomfort for a sizable portion of the US population, more than half you might say, to the frustration of many. But I don't really care. It's really just like, please don't fuck with global warming. Like, if you don't do that and then everything else is kind of gravy, I would love it if he didn't fuck with technology too much either, especially shit like encryption, because politicians don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Clearly, they've made that very clear, but I think I could survive if we just didn't fuck up global warming any more than we already have. If we can manage that, the rest I can just stomach. It's... global warming scares the piss out of me. But anyway, that's a bit too serious. We're not going to talk about that this episode, no fear. Don't worry, I hope you haven't already left the video as a result of that little bit there, but, you know, a lot of people have some anxiety going into 2017. I'm hopeful. Cautiously optimistic, I guess, but I don't know, man. We'll see. Lots could happen, lots could not happen. Wow, they actually made some good progress on the tower. This is gonna take fucking forever to finish, but hopefully we'll get there. Go kill these guys if we can. They seem to come back so quickly, there's probably no real point in dealing with them, but we'll give it a shot anyway and see what happens. But yeah, a lot of people are... You know, I mean, you could call it paranoia, thinking that, oh, everything's gonna go horribly wrong and the world is gonna be a dramatically worse place because of all that stuff, but... I feel like I've seen real paranoia in my life, and I don't think this is that. Real paranoia, and I mentioned previously, I used to work in an electronics retailer, so, you know, we sold a lot of stuff. I was in a department that had a really big mix of stuff. Like, on any given day, a customer might come in asking for a fuse. That was pretty uncommon. Like a resistor, like really legit components, that was very uncommon. Welders, circuit boards. The guys who knew what they were doing enough to buy that stuff generally don't need my help anyway. But I actually made a point of learning a little bit so that I could help them. I've kind of forgotten. I mostly just knew, like, hey, if you tell me the couple of keywords, I can tell you where we have that and I can get you the right one. But aside from that, I didn't really know what I was doing with electronics like that. I kind of wish I did, because it's pretty cool. It strikes me kind of like hardware programming, in that, you know, in programming you might have like a for loop or a while loop or something, but with hardware you have kind of like a circuit where it seems like, maybe I'm completely stupid and wrong about this, but you're controlling a binary thing, which seems like a good trade, but we don't really need gold. You're kind of controlling a binary thing, being the whether or not there's power on a particular line at a moment. So I'm really, like, at some point in my life, like, if I could be a YouTuber full-time and I could be a streamer full-time and, like, make good, and not just, like, okay money, the life that I want cannot really do okay money. I need more than okay money, so I'm probably never gonna have this. But if I was profoundly lucky to make really good money off of YouTube and Twitch, I would probably try to spend a lot of my free time doing things like learning French, German, maybe Japanese, and Korean. I think are probably the 4 languages that I like to learn, but I'm just looking at what I want to craft here. I think the main thing was food, which I already queued up, and then you level up the potter. Yeah, but yeah, learn some languages, and then the other thing would be to learn different skills, and a lot of it right off the bat would be programming related, but I'd like to learn hardware too. A little bit of like surface level electrical engineering would be very cool to get into. That's something that I feel like I could totally learn. I'm smart enough to be able to do that, but I never have. And I kind of wish that I could and or had at some point. Did I not have like a... I didn't dig out... I could have sworn I dug out like a... Wow. Okay. Nothing, huh? I could have sworn I dug out like a dirt layer. Oh, I can do that now. Oh, fuck off. Blacksmith leveled up. That's cool. That's our second blacksmith, I think. What do you mean approaching? They're already in my fucking town. Come on. That's not okay. Alright. Military. There's a healer, but I'm gonna just settle for getting him into the fight right now. Not gonna worry. I think a healer's back here. There we go. Alright, you guys can... Workers can get back to work. Okay, you're one of the... You guys are the healers? Yep. There you go. Get fucked. But yeah, I'd love to spend my time learning about that. But enough about that. But then we also sold like routers, computer cases, motherboards, processors, RAM, well, not graphics cards. But the thing was, like, people would come to us to build the computers, so we'd probably communicate to them like, hey, here's a graphics card you should get, even though we don't get commission on it, which was horseshit, but whatever. Honestly, all the other departments didn't know what the fuck they were doing. We basically were the only one, and several of our people didn't know what the fuck they were doing either, but there were a few of us who, like, could actually build a computer and knew, like, hey, if you're trying to do this, this hardware made sense. And, like, I actually had a customer yell at me, but then, like, come back down and be like, yeah, no, you were totally right to do what you did, you were totally right to say what you did, because basically he was a stockbroker or something, and he really, really, really needed a shit ton of RAM. But literally no one else does. So I was telling him, like, you really don't need 40-something gigs of RAM. Like, that's overkill. I guarantee you don't need it. He's like, no, trust me, I need it. And, you know, he figured it out. So he was mad to start with, but he got over it. So yeah, we were basically the people you came to when you knew what you were doing, or needed someone who knew what they were doing. But we also sold security cameras. So very occasionally, and I'm a pretty, especially not so much anymore. I'm still definitely that guy, but I figure it out quicker. I am a little bit too trusting. So what would happen would be some guy or lady would come in looking for a security camera. I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem helping you out. Those are pretty high commission items. I'd be more than happy to make sure that I get you what you need. By the way, literally never sold a single security system that didn't get returned. Without fucking fail. It's ridiculous. I'd get like extra $300 on my paycheck, and then like 2 weeks later it'd be like, oh yeah, you owe us $300. Which was horseshit, but that's, you know, retail. Retail's a shitty business. Don't work in it if you don't have to. But yeah, so we'd get people coming in. I'd always be like, yeah, I'll help you, no problem. Just let me know what you need. I wasn't really in it. Like, the cash was nice, but that's not... I didn't let it drive my motivation for helping the customer. I'd like, okay, you need this kind of thing, you need this many cameras, you need this much recording capacity, here's what you need. And I actually got them what they needed every single time. Problem was, being gullible and that kind of guy, I'd wind up with a nut job, basically, who was actually paranoid. Maybe calling him a nut job isn't fair, but definitely someone who is legitimately paranoid. And I'd wind up like stuck like talking to them for an hour and a half, like about how their landlord was stealing from them or something. And just like, no, buddy, I'm sorry, that's not happening. I'll sell you this, but no. And like, at the end of the day, I'm retail workers, not a psychologist. I can't help him. But it was sad to see, and I like it was difficult for me to recognize a lot at first. Like, some of them I didn't even notice, like, wait a minute, you're probably actually crazy, until well after the fact. And, you know, one guy had me going for like 2 hours, and the problem was I was agreeing with him and saying, yeah, it's fine, but he just like, seemed like he wasn't really there to buy anything, he was just there to talk. Like, it was therapeutic for him to talk to someone about how his landlord was coming into his home and taking shit or stealing or whatever. I don't even know. But anyway, I hope if you're a fan of mine, I really, 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 really hope that you never abuse retail workers. But if you do, consider that a lot of the time they have to deal with that, and they're like free therapy for some people because they don't, you know, they don't have access or they don't recognize that they have a problem. So some of us are shitty to those people, but, you know, some of us like help and talk to those people and give them somewhere where they can actually, obviously not regularly talk, but, you know, give them some interaction that's not like, you're fucking crazy, go away. But on the other side, some people do give them the you're fucking crazy, go away line, which I understand it. Ultimately, it's like, this is an American probably view, and you may disagree with it, but the prevailing mentality, I guess, would be that you're not a friend of mine, you're not my family, I don't owe you anything. I'm under really no obligation to sit here and listen to you drone on about how some ridiculous bullshit's happening that's definitely not happening. So, you know, I understand when a retail worker says, like, basically extricates them from that situation and just gets out and doesn't listen to them. Because once you realize that they're not gonna really buy anything, they're just like satisfying a compulsion almost. It's not pretty. I don't like that you'd bail on that person and just like basically tell them to fuck off, but at the same time I get it, because they're not your responsibility. And that's a really painful reality to say maybe, but it's the truth. Like, you can't really be held responsible for every person that walks into your store. You don't really have an obligation to them. Now, to a degree you do. For certain things you do. But you're not on the hook for every little, like, you can't be on the hook for that. And it's the same thing when you have, like, someone who's depressed or really messed up. Like, if you can help, great, and, you know, you're a better person than a lot of people if you do. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily fair for someone just to come up to you and basically dump all their problems on you and say, like, hey, I'm miserable, help me. It's really not your job. So, yeah, but then at the same time, we're all sitting, I don't know, like I said, it's a sticky situation, but I just don't feel like it's fair to expect someone to kind of sit there and just deal with it. So I personally will, because, well, some amount of anxiety to, like, I don't want to say no, I don't want to confront these people and call them out on whatever's going on, because that's just not who I am. I don't like that kind of confrontation, but I get where people are coming from if they hopefully politely get out of that situation. I get it. And again, I think that's a very American perspective to be, I guess, kind of in it for yourself. But I think that's valid. It's just, like, to a degree. Like, if you're actively hurting other people for your own benefit, I have a problem with that. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe you have a responsibility in a mental health environment to go out of your way and, like, do something like that for someone. Everyone's different, though. Alright. I was wondering where the hell those guys went. That was bizarre. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Alright. Tower continues to get built. Yeah, done like a full level this episode. That's not bad. Continuing upward. And I apologize if you can hear loud noises in the background. It's a hazard of living with other people. Oh, lovely. Here we go. Hopefully that will not be too much longer, though. Should be moving in 2 months, so things will change somewhat. Daily update. No new people. Please get that rock down. Really not attractive to leave a boulder on top of your home. No, they'll deal with it in time. Why are these people pulling wool down from the roof of the tower? That seems like not a place for wool. Weird. Oh well. X-ray doesn't do shit for that, I remember. Yeah, doesn't do shit. No. Worth a shot. Not sure what to do next here. Probably do like a better tower. That'll be the next project. Still gotta build this one though. We probably need more stone if I had to guess. Let's take a look at that real quick. But yeah, I hope no one's offended by that take on like, I guess, social responsibility and mental health. I think it's the right thing to help people in that situation and try to, like, you know, you can't do much, but at least like give them 5 minutes of your time or something just to talk. But at the same time, if you don't, I get it. I totally understand where that's coming from, because it's you really don't have a responsibility at all, in my opinion. Everyone's different, and I think that comes down to the culture of the area that you're. If you're somewhere where that is the norm, then you are expected to kind of chip in or like get them help somehow, no problem. But in the US, you know, that pursuit of capitalism, I think, and, you know, I'm not trying to be edgy teenager like, oh, fuck capitalism, it's so shitty, communism is way better. No, that's stupid. Anyone who says that is an idiot. But I understand, like any adult should, that capitalism does have downsides, and one of them is that it kind of incentivizes focus on the self over others in all things. So, you know, taking advantage of people for financial gain is, you get rewarded. It's right there in what I said, financial gain. There is a reward to doing that. Okay, where are these dicks? Alright. Oh wow, they're in there. It's really like, sometimes it tells me when they're like forever away, and sometimes it's like, hey, you're already fighting them, here they are. It's not very helpful. And there's another healer one, so that should be fine. Have to murder the healers, and then we're good. They're in the main boulevard. It's unacceptable. But yeah, culturally in the US, it's just, that's the situation. It's, you know, you gotta look out for yourself, because genuinely, no one else will. And if you're lucky, you can find a wife or a husband who's gonna also look out for you, but you can't rely on that. because you're not born with a wife or husband. Like, that has to be found. And if you don't find that quickly enough, you need to be able to look after yourself as an adult. And if you don't, you will pay a price for it. So it's shitty. But basically, my philosophy and the way I think you kind of have to do things in life is you look out for yourself first, and then do what you can to help others. And unfortunately, that's just the way the US works, I feel. Does it suck? Arguably, yeah. But that's the society that we've built. If you don't like it, change the culture. Profoundly difficult to do that, but you know, if that's what has to happen to get the change that— why are you not following commands? This is really an irritating situation. But yeah, if that's the change that is necessary in order to have the culture or have the civilization that you want, then, well, you got your work cut out for you, don't you? So, yeah, it's just a fact of life, I think. Is it a shitty fact of life? Yeah, kind of. But it's also reality. That's just how the US is. And there's lots of negative aspects of really any culture, frankly, if you look at them. I think some are better than others, without doubt. But they all have negatives. And you're kidding yourself if you think they don't. Lots of things I wish were different. Sorry. That was a horribly phrased sentence. There are a lot of things that I wish were different about American culture. That's not un-American to say that, I think. So, anyway, sorry for getting a little bit too real there, but I don't see it as like a stressful thing to talk about. I don't see it as too real. That doesn't make any sense to me. To me, that just means it's more interesting, personally. But again, that's my perspective, so I apologize if you don't agree. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments and I'll try to stop doing that. But otherwise, I will have to assume that people are interested in topics like this as much as I am. I hope you are. Kind of banking on you are. Sorry, that was also a horribly phrased sentence. I'm kind of banking that you are. Banking on the fact that you are. Or the possibility that you are. There we go, we got there. Alright, anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you'll join us for the next one as well. Take care.